going on, guys? It's your boy John the Liquidator coming back with another video, and it looked like Adam Silver is forced to speak out against Cathy Engelbert and the current
Okay, this is wild. So Cathy Engelbert might have just hit the panic button, and guess who forced her hand? Caitlyn Clark. After weeks of chaos, Adam Silver has officially stepped in, and let's just say things are about to get ugly. The WNBA's leadership problem just turned into a survival problem. What do you think? Should Adam Silver fire Cathy Engelbert before the league collapses? So here's the situation. Adam Silver has finally had enough. The man already has his hands full managing LeBron's never-ending farewell tours, balancing NBA expansion talk, and keeping TV ratings from tanking. And now he's stuck cleaning up Cathy Engelbert's mess in the WNBA. To put it bluntly, the league is on fire, and not in a good way.
He stepped out and started talking about the crazy nonsense of a civil war that's going on between Iron Man or Iron Woman, Cathy Engelbert, and Captain America, Napheesa Collier.
Oh, you're mad. This all started with Napheesa Collier publicly calling out Cathy Engelbert, saying the commissioner lied about comments she made involving Caitlyn Clark. That one spark turned into a wildfire. Suddenly, players are canceling meetings, media outlets are running Cathy versus players headlines, and fans are openly calling for her resignation. And through it all, the one person the league can't afford to lose, Caitlyn Clark, has been sitting in silence watching everything unfold. Now here's where it gets real interesting. After Cathy Engelbert's failed press conference, where she tried to deny ever saying that Caitlyn Clark should be grateful for her fame, Adam Silver got dragged into it. Because when your league's biggest star and your commissioner are on opposite sides of the same problem, it becomes his problem. That's why first thing Monday morning, Adam Silver was on record. He said the WNBA was going through growing pains, which is the corporate way of saying we're in chaos but can't admit it. He mentioned the league's unprecedented popularity colliding with player dissatisfaction. Translation: the WNBA is finally making headlines for the right reasons on the court, but all those headlines are being buried under the drama off the court, and who's at the center of it all again? Caitlyn Clark. Now Adam Silver did his usual diplomatic dance, praising Cathy Engelbert for historic growth and player engagement. But if you've watched Silver long enough, you know when he's just saying words to calm investors. Because right after that, he dropped the real line. He said there are issues we need to address with our players. They're not just economic, they're relationship issues. That's it, right there. Relationship issues. That's corporate code for nobody trusts Cathy Engelbert anymore. And that's exactly why fans started trending #fire Cathy right after Silver's comments hit social media. Here's the funny part. The league is pretending everything's fine. They're pushing finals highlights, posting WNBA merch links, and tweeting motivational quotes about growth and unity. Meanwhile, players are out here tweeting cryptic messages like respect has to be earned, you can't make this up, let's go back a bit. The WNBA had one job this year: keep momentum. They finally had record-breaking attendance. Caitlyn Clark brought in millions of new fans, and TV networks were fighting over broadcast rights. And what did they do with that momentum? They threw it away with off-court politics, bad officiating, and a commissioner who refuses to take accountability.
In my opinion, Cathy Engelbert's not going to survive this as the commissioner. I don't believe the Napheesa Collier pipe bomb that she dropped the other day, where she channeled the spirit of Caitlyn Clark, unbeknownst to Clark, but knownst to Collier. Nonetheless, when Caitlyn Clark calls for new leadership,
you're in trouble. However, when you have the NBA commissioner publicly commenting on your management drama, that's not growth, that's a red flag. Adam Silver's tone said everything. He wasn't angry, he was disappointed, like a parent who's tired of cleaning up the same mess over and over again. He even said, "We'll get a deal done." You know what that means? It means he doesn't trust Cathy Engelbert to get it done herself. And honestly, who would? This is the same commissioner who let a feud between her and Napheesa Collier explode in public right before the final. Instead of focusing on basketball, the entire conversation shifted to locker room politics and leaks. Let's be real, Cathy Engelbert is fighting for her job right now. Her own players don't trust her. Her biggest star, Caitlyn Clark, has stopped reposting WNBA content, and the man above her, Adam Silver, is already giving statements that sound like a gentle warning before a firing. The writing's on the wall. Now here's where it gets spicy. Behind the scenes, multiple reports say that several WNBA players, including a few from the Fever, have quietly discussed, including Cathy's resignation as part of their CBA negotiation demands. Yes, you heard that right. Players are literally saying we won't sign a new deal until she's gone. That's wild. When was the last time an entire players' union tried to push out their commissioner mid-season? The last time something close to this happened in sports was decades ago, and it ended with a complete leadership overhaul. So if the WNBA's CBA negotiations don't get fixed this month, you might not see a 2026 season at all. And it's not even because of money, it's because the relationship between the players and the commissioner is officially dead. Meanwhile, Caitlyn Clark's sitting in the background like a ticking time bomb. She hasn't said much publicly, but her silence says more than any statement could. When someone that famous stops showing up for league promotions, it means they're done pretending. The WNBA has one major issue. They forgot who built their audience. You can't treat the person who saved your ticket sales like a pawn in boardroom drama. Caitlyn Clark's name has been dragged through this CBA fight for weeks. First, she was used by the league to boost attention, then she was used by players to prove a point about power and respect. And all she's ever done is show up and play basketball. But that's not enough anymore, apparently. The fans are noticing too. People are starting to say things like the WNBA doesn't deserve Caitlyn Clark. And honestly, it's hard to argue, because while the league keeps preaching about growth, the same old problems keep popping up: favoritism, politics, and PR disaster. Cathy Engelbert thought she could just deny everything and move on. But when you call a respected veteran like Nephiza Collier a liar, indirectly or not, you don't move on from that. You lose the locker room. Now Adam Silver's stuck cleaning up the mess. He's saying all the right things. We'll fix it. It's a misunderstanding. We're working together. But make no mistake, this is damage control. He's not defending Cathy because he believes in her. He's defending her because firing her mid-season would look like a total meltdown. But that meltdown's already here, because the players don't believe her, the fans don't like her, and Caitlyn Clark, the only person keeping this league in the spotlight, is clearly over it. Now let's talk about the timing. The CBA talks are happening right now. This month. That's the deadline. If no agreement is reached by Halloween, the WNBA could officially head into a lockout, and that means no basketball in 2026. Can you imagine? Caitlyn Clark, Asia Wilson, Angel Reese, all sidelined because the league can't get its act together. That's not growth. That's self-sabotage. Silver tried to sound confident during his NBC interview, saying he's sure a deal will get done, but if you listen closely, you can tell he's just hoping. He also said something interesting. He called the situation unfortunate timing during the finals. Unfortunate timing? That's putting it lightly. The finals are supposed to be the peak of the season. Instead, they've been overshadowed by management scandals and fan outrage. No one's talking about the games anymore. They're talking about whether Cathy Engelbert will even survive the month. This is where Caitlyn Clark's influence comes in again, because every time she opens her mouth, or doesn't, it moves the needle. Her quietness right now is shaking the league harder than any headline could. Cathy Engelbert's worst nightmare isn't being yelled at, it's being ignored by Caitlyn Clark. Because if Caitlyn and her massive fan base turn their backs, the league loses everything it built this past year. That's why you're seeing all this fake unity online, all these thank you fans posts, and we love our players quotes from the WNBA official page. That's not love, that's panic. The truth is, Adam Silver's team has already started internal evaluation. Multiple reports suggest he's asked for updates on player sentiment and sponsor feedback regarding Cathy's leadership. That's corporate language for we're figuring out how to replace her without setting off a bigger fire, and honestly, that's probably the smartest move right now, because no matter how many press releases the WNBA drops, no one's buying the PR act anymore. Players are frustrated, fans are done, and the commissioner's credibility is at zero. So let's fast forward to what's happening right now behind closed doors. Adam Silver isn't just monitoring the situation anymore. He's officially involved, and that alone should terrify Cathy Engelbert. You know it's serious when the NBA commissioner, a guy juggling billion-dollar TV contracts and global expansion plans, is taking time out of his day to manage a WNBA meltdown. Reports say Silver's office has been flooded with calls from sponsors, team owners, and player reps, all saying the same thing: "We don't trust Cathy anymore." That's brutal. And here's the kicker: he's not denying it. In his latest statement, Silver said there are relationship issues in the WNBA that need immediate attention. Translation: we're cleaning house, and Cathy's the first name on the list. The league tried to frame his words as support, but anyone who's watched sports politics knows how this works. When a higher-up says they have full confidence in someone, that person usually gets fired 2 weeks later. That's exactly the vibe here. Cathy's been scrambling, trying to regain control. She's holding extra meetings, sending out internal memos, and reportedly planning another player leadership summit to rebuild trust. Too late. You can't rebuild trust with people who have already stopped returning your texts. Even team executives are frustrated. Some owners feel Cathy is too focused on public image and not enough on solving actual problems like travel conditions, player salaries, and league transparency, and they're right. The moment she went to the media to deny Napheesa Collier's claims instead of addressing them privately, she lost every ounce of credibility. Now there's a growing rumor, and it's spreading fast, that Adam Silver might appoint an interim commissioner if things don't cool down by year's end. That would be a massive move. The NBA hasn't stepped in like that since the early 2000s. But here's the thing: it wouldn't even shock anyone at this point. The WNBA has gone from its most promising season ever to an absolute PR disaster in just a few weeks. Ticket prices are down, finals viewership dropped, and most of the headlines aren't about the games, they're about dysfunction. And who's quietly sitting in the middle of all this chaos? Caitlyn Clark. She doesn't need to say a word. Her silence alone makes the league nervous. Remember, every time she comments on anything, or even doesn't, it turns into breaking news. So right now, her choosing to stay quiet while everyone else burns? That's power. Fans are even joking online that Caitlyn doesn't need a press conference. She just needs to unfollow someone, and the entire league starts panicking. And honestly, they're not wrong. When she finally speaks, and she will eventually, it's over for Cathy. Because whatever she says, that's where public opinion goes. If Caitlyn publicly hints that she's lost faith in leadership, no sponsor, broadcaster, or investor is going to side with the commissioner, and that's exactly what Adam Silver understands. He knows that the WNBA's success right now isn't built on corporate slogans. It's built on one player's influence. Lose her and you lose everything. That's why Silver's stepping in quietly but firmly. He's been contacting select owners, reviewing communication logs, and asking for detailed reports about how the leadership crisis started. That's not checking in, that's investigation mode. And you know what's wild? Cathy Engelbert is still acting like she's safe. She's giving interviews saying we're focused on the future of women's basketball. No. Cathy, you're focused on surviving the week. At this point, it's not a matter of if she gets replaced, it's when. The WNBA players have made it clear they're done being ignored. They're using their leverage before the CBA deadline, and Adam Silver's watching every move. If he senses that Cathy's presence is threatening negotiations, she's gone. Because the one thing Adam Silver will never let happen is a total shutdown of the WNBA during its biggest media boom in decades. He's not letting a management scandal erase the momentum that Caitlyn Clark created. That's why the phrase Cathy Engelbert in panic isn't just clickbait anymore. It's real. Every day that goes by without resolution makes her job less secure, and if this league hits a lockout, everyone's gonna blame her. Right now, it feels like she's one press release away from being replaced. So where does Caitlyn fit in all this? Well, let's just say her villain era might finally begin. She's been polite, professional, and patient for too long, but when your name keeps getting used as a political prop, patience runs out. Fans want her to take control, to stop letting the league define her and start defining the league herself. And if she ever publicly supports Adam Silver stepping in, that's game over for Cathy. Because the moment Caitlyn Clark says we need change, every fan, player, and sponsor will echo it. And Adam Silver will have all the justification he needs to hit the reset button on WNBA leadership. So yeah, Cathy's panicking for a reason. She built her image on control, but now she's lost control of everything. Her players, her league, and her legacy. And Adam Silver's about to make sure she loses her job too. The WNBA wanted headlines about finals glory, but instead it's all about chaos, silence, and one woman's downfall. Caitlyn Clark didn't ask for this power. The league handed it to her. Now she's using it without saying a word. Do you think Adam Silver will actually fire Cathy Engelbert? Hit like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts below.